All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is. Let me see. Ah, I forgot what today's date. I think it's the 30th. I think it's the 30th. I don't know. The dates be slipping past me nowadays. March 30th, 2024. About 12:03 p.m. Saturday. Just finished my last delivery of the day, maybe my last delivery. And all right. I think I got this one down. So okay, now this is probably something that basically every TI can relate to. And I realize this is like you really have to have discernment and patience with yourself, and also understanding that the world is much bigger than us, and everyone is going through something. And whether we want to believe it or not, even perps who we know or think that are gaslighting us, even they're going through something to some degree. I mean, yeah, they definitely are on the quote-unquote winning side, because they basically have control over just about almost everything in the world, especially if it has an electric current flowing through it, if it runs on electricity. Yeah, they're trying to control that too. Full spectrum dominance. The control over everything that is electronic, because they have the technology that can basically manipulate the particles that are within the electromagnetic fields of just about everything that runs on electricity, including human beings. Those of us who are being targeted, we already know this. Those who probably just came into maybe understanding what being a TI is. Those of you who are just coming into it, there's definitely a lot to have to unfold and understand. Because like I tell people, when it comes to targeting, there's three aspects to this thing, and it may be a fourth one, but I haven't really fully mapped that one out yet. But there's three known aspects that I know, that I can think of when it comes to this, right? You have your technological. The technological aspect of targeting basically consists of anything from hacking the devices in your possession to hacking and causing electromagnetic interference with just about any electronic device that you use that is within your body area network, your wireless body area network. Just about any electronic thing that is within your vicinity, they can basically direct electromagnetic waves at that object to be able to cause it to malfunction, cause several different server interferences, all kinds of things, right? That's the technological aspect, right? That also includes basically using the use of like antennas or transmitters to electronically manipulate you. And when I say electronically manipulate you, I mean wirelessly taking energy from one place to another, to your body. And then what they do is they basically find the frequency they find the resonant frequency. They find the frequency for, let's say, I don't know, the tip of your right index finger right, the tip of your right index finger, right? They find the frequency for that. So then what they do is, because your whole body's mapped out. If you remember in The Sims, it's like you click on the character and then all the menu options pop up. This is just me visualizing it. I'm like I don't really know what it looks like, but based on everything that I'm sensing around my entire aura and my body, this is what I think what it might look like. It's like, if you think about The Sims, you click on the character, right? Then you see all the menu options pop up around them. Then you can click on, let's say, the TV, right? You click on the TV, just like in the game, you click on the TV, and you can tell the Sim to go watch TV. Now, it's funny. This is actually mind-blowing when I really think about it. It never hit me until literally just this second. Ever notice how in The Sims, it's like they really are, like, if you leave a Sims alone and just let them do, if you don't basically train the Sim to have like a very, very strong or very specific personality type, like if you don't really put in the work to make them into studious people or cleanly people and whatnot, and you just let them go, a lot of times they'll probably end up dying because they won't know to cook for themselves, or they won't know to do this, or whatever the case may be, right? They'll just be wandering around not really knowing what to do. They won't even use the bathroom when they're supposed to. You gotta tell it to clean, you gotta do all these things, right? Now, this came to mind just a few seconds ago, or a minute ago, whatever. Notice that if you don't mess with the Sim is actually on its own. It's doing its own thing, right? It's doing its own thing until you want it to do something, right? And then that's where the influence comes in at. In The Sims, it's like you're looking at your character. Let's say your character's just sitting there. Your character is basically sitting there reading a book on the couch or something. And then you're like, I want my Sim to watch TV. Mind you, when it does read or study, you see the little blue meter bar that basically tells you how far along is their progress when it comes to learning a new skill level or whatever, right? So with The Sims, what we do is we basically click on the TV, and then when we tell it to go watch TV, it's like, imagine, we just transmitted. We literally just transmitted, I guess in the digital, world, we just transmitted a signal calling out. We basically are the radio frequency. We transmitted the signal to tell the Sim to go watch TV, and then all of a sudden, and I always notice it too. It's so interesting. When the Sim, when you finally click go watch TV, the Sim will prop up. It'll prop straight up, and then it'll go into the motion of going to watch TV. I find it interesting because that moment where it pauses, I feel like that's exactly what happens to us when this weird interfering ass energy comes out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden we have this pulse to do something. Like, it's an impulse to do something. It's not that we actually thought about doing it ourselves. It's like this weird impulse just came out of nowhere to do something, right? Mind you, with this technology, coming back to real life, with this technology, if you try to ignore that impulse, if it's an impulse that came from somewhere else and not one that was actually thought up by you, if you try to ignore that impulse, what they'll do is they'll basically increase the, I guess, the amplifying power of that frequency or that thought. Well, thoughts are frequencies. They'll increase the power of that frequency, basically making you more magnetized to focus or to physically act on that impulse. And that's a lot of times what they're doing is like, if you don't have control over your mind, they're going to have a stronger control over your mind for you. And I think that's what, and it's interesting because so many times where I'm in my like, I guess my zone, trying to like really fight off and block off, you know, their influences. And there's these moments when let's say I don't know, I want to buy some seltzer water, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I want to go to the store and buy some seltzer water. I know I originally wanted to go and buy some seltzer water, but get this, what if they want you to drink a Pepsi? So what they do is they send a signal to your brain that like probably something that your brain would recognize as like, I don't know, I guess like a like your brain would recognize the signal as like your own impulse stating that you want Pepsi. So then next thing you know, you already had your mind focused on a seltzer water, but then this weird feeling comes out of nowhere and you're like, why all of a sudden I want a Pepsi? I'm telling you, this happens too often to more people than they realize. The moment when you start to say, why all of a sudden do I have like it's like, why all of a sudden do I have this impulse or this urge to do this? People gotta pay attention to that, because I feel like if you don't understand why you want something, or you don't understand why you want to do something, or why this, or whatever the case may be, yeah, if you don't understand why you want to do certain things or whatever, and you just end up going along with it anyway, just realize you could be doing something that they want you to do. If you didn't if the thought or the idea did not come from you and it just pops into your mind, you gotta be very aware and careful of anything that just pops into your mind. I'm gonna tell you what I also think as well, right? All right. You don't see nothing but blue sky and clouds. I don't even see the chemtrail clouds. I mean, they might be there, but you don't see them. But there are probably like beyond a measurable number I was trying not to be mad, but I just walked into it. But anyway, there's probably like some unmeasurable amount of frequencies that are traveling through the air, right? And our brain, working as antennas, basically gravitate or magnetize to different thoughts, different impulses. I mean, hell, like, I don't know, there's so many different things that we are picking up on like an everyday, every second moment, but our consciousness probably don't pick up on everything. Our subconscious probably picks up on everything. But when we consciously choose to focus our mind on something in particular, that's when we become consciously involved in the stimuluses that are in our environment. Back to The Sims now, right? So as far as how I believe the energy resonances, or the resonant the energy resonant attacks kind of look, right? So let's see this person on the bike, right? Let's say I click this person, right? I click that person, and then I want them, once I click on them, this, let's say this aura or this sphere or this energy bubble is like completely encapsulating this person, right? Or let's use, I'm trying to find someone that's like in front of me. Okay, wait, this will work. Okay, so let's say all right, so you see that guy over there on his phone right there? Let's say if we were playing like The Sims right now, but like real world Sims or something like that, I click on him, right? I click on him, and then this aura or this energy bubble around him shows up, right? And from that energy bubble, you see like there's like this cord. There's like a, let me see, where's he at? So like there's like a cord that kind of that connects to him, but it goes somewhere else. I don't know where it's connected to. I don't know if it's connected to like the United States Space Force station, whatever. I don't know where it's connecting to, or maybe it's connected to there's a word that I found, I just came across, and it's not a new word, but it's a term that they use to it had something to do with like basically the data sphere that basically covers the entire earth. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a data sphere that covers the entire earth. It's like, imagine the earth in a prison of artificial energy. But anyway, so when those options open up around the person's energy bubble, and let's say I wanted to take the energy from the street light, right? The energy from the traffic light. Because that has electricity flowing through it, that has an electromagnetic field. So I click on the street lamp, right? And there's like a circle around that. There's an energy bubble around that. Why? Because that's the electromagnetic field of the traffic light. So you got the person has its own electromagnetic field, and then the traffic light has its own electromagnetic field. Then what I could do, or at least what I'm thinking they do, they basically drag in, like they click and hold and drag, and they basically like draw like this energy line, or like some type of steerable beam of energy particles, right? They take it and they drag it across the air, and what makes this energy maintain its charge as it goes various distances without losing power? There's something in the air. I'm pretty damn certain that there is some type of probably a gas or conductive particles or something's in the air that helps the wireless energy go from one point to another without losing any power. There has to be something in the air, some type of medium, right? Yeah, so you drag this energy beam from the traffic light and connect it to a person. Now, not only are you connecting to that person, but you can also, you connect to the person, and then you can choose exactly what part of the person you want it to affect. So once I drag the traffic light to, let's say, that biker, and then options show up like, okay, where do you want this energy to go? Do you want it to go in there, go in his right knee? Do you want it to go in his back? Do you want it to go? It's like you can basically create a bond between an electronic device and a person, and then control where the energy you can control where the energy basically will resonate to. So if I want it if I wanted electromagnetic waves from the traffic light to go to, I don't know, like someone's heart or something like that, then you could do it. It'll just be as simple as, you know, let's say I click that lady there, click, I click here, click, and then there's like an energy bubble around that, then there's an energy bubble around her. So what I do, I just basically click there and I drag it across and connect it to her. And then I say, and then I basically control the energy, or how much energy is coming from the traffic light. The traffic light isn't really gonna run out of energy because it's connected to its own like source, right? It's connected to its own source, and so it's not gonna really lose its power or anything. If anything, the further down the block she goes, it's probably gonna lose its effect, right? So it'll be something along the lines like, as she gets further down the block, she probably won't notice whatever pain that she was feeling as she was walking down, but she's not going to notice it anymore. Because now she's too far from that traffic light. Hold on one second. So yeah, at least that's how I'm visualizing it, because I've been practicing with sensing the direction and source of where a lot of attacks have been coming into my body. I've been practicing this for a long time. Anytime I feel something odd or something weird or something painful in my body, first thing I do, I place my hand on top of the area where I feel the pain at. After I place my hand on it, then I slowly back my hand away from the area, so then I can actually feel the thermal energy and the magnetic force of the frequency traveling from either from or to my body. Then I can feel it in the air, and then if I follow it long enough, and I guess I'm sensitive enough that I could do this, but I could trace it, I could follow it all the way back to wherever it's coming from. So a lot of times, especially in my apartment, I feel the energy always tend to trace back to like either cell phones, and even if it's in a Faraday box, that's still not enough, because we're talking about quantum. We're talking about small particles. We're not even really talking about the beams themselves. We're talking about particles. We're talking about like photons and phonons and protons, and we're talking small. You know, they're taking the particles and then basically amplifying the power that's being carried within a wave. That's what we're talking about, right? But damn, I said that to say something else. They must be trying to work on my mind now. But anyway, they've been doing a lot. Right now they have, matter of fact, right now there is a lot, like a resonant frequency being made between my right testicle and this cell phone in my hand. And as I'm holding it with my hand, I can feel all these like these wafting waves of energy coursing over my hand. But all right, okay, all right, I'm gonna end it here so I can get myself out of here. But for now, I'll keep y'all updated on talk to y'all later. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.